Hello, y'all. I'm back. It's 10:43 p.m. Well, back in 2012, or I think 2011 and 2012, when I was on Twitter, um, excuse me, when I was on Twitter, people that so-called anti-Illuminati and anti-New World Order people would say that when Israel strikes Iran, there will be World War III. And they were talking about war in Syria at the time. So now I heard that Iran struck Israel today, which is 5 days after the eclipse. And excuse me, so I heard that Iran struck, or is it Iran, how they pronounce it? And Iran, supposedly struck Israel today, and people are saying that World War III started today. So I know the Bible talk about wars and rumors of wars, during this time. But I feel ashamed to not be as biblically prepared and spiritually prepared. I feel like I've been so far from spiritually prepared. So excuse me, I need to fight harder to like I've been backslidden and lukewarm myself, and need to get my soul right with God and everything, and so not much really happened since the last video earlier, but it took some digging for me to find that picture that I put in the most recent community post. And yeah, in that picture, even in that picture with me with the blue swimsuit, we were still in foster care, and me and my twin sister, we were 13 years old in 8th grade. Well, we passed 8th grade. It was over the summer. And we were going on 9th grade, and we visited the foster sister April in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that was at April's apartment complex. And we went swimming. So, but yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it was June, or I really think, I don't remember what date it was, but I just remember, you know what? I think it was in July of 1997. And I'm like, wow, that was a few months before the targeting started, because even during that time, the foster mom looked at me favorably, or she considered me one of her favorites. But seemingly overnight, I became to be the favorite child to the most hated. But basically, the foster mom hated us equally when we were little kids. Like, um, but it seemed like the favoritism went towards Mark. Or the foster mom gave him so much privileges. And Mark was physically abusing and beating on us when we were like, the earliest I remember was we were 3 years old. But I didn't realize Mark's voice was already deep, and I have no memory of Mark's voice not being deep yet. But I do remember how Sean and Wyatt used to sound before their voices got deep. Excuse me. So Mark, I was 3 years old, and Mark, I guess, must have already been 13 because his voice was deep already. And I remember he physically assaulted me when I was 3 years old. But I became older, and I mentioned before about how I felt terrible, about hitting and fighting or other kids when I was a kid. And then at a certain age in earlier adulthood, I told myself that I didn't want to be an abuser. I was even a kid myself, and didn't know any better, and didn't realize that I was acting on the abuse that happened to me. And I didn't even know that Mark was abused in some foster home in Milwaukee when he was a toddler before we were born. So, like, I heard that they had this foster parent or whatever in Milwaukee that used to physically abuse and beat on Mark really bad or something like that. And I heard that has something to do with why he walks with a cripple. I think I heard that that foster parent in Milwaukee pushed him down the stairs or something, or did something to him. I don't remember. But then again, like, people like Ramona would try to cover it up and lie and say that Mark was born like that. But I mean, I feel bad. Even now and then, I was a kid myself and didn't know any better. And if I would, do bad things to other kids or even animals, but I was a kid myself and didn't know any better. But, not realizing that I was acting out abuse that happened to me. And I got a certain age and said that I don't want to be an abuser, And, that was like, yeah, like quite a few years before I found out the truth and called myself trying to turn to Jesus Christ. But like, and I feel embarrassed and terrible that one of the reasons why people in society treat me stupid, like I'm stupid or whatever, because the foster mom never really taught us any better. And she wait till we make a mistake to just yell at us and expect us to have common sense. And I was 22 years old, and didn't realize that, I think I had like some Nutella, and I tried Nutella for the first time and I didn't like it, and I gave it to the dog. And the foster sister Shelly's husband Brian went off on me and yelled at me, and you know threatened to call the police on me and falsely accused me of trying to kill the dog on purpose, when I really didn't even realize, you know, that a dog is, at that time, I didn't realize that a dog is not supposed to have chocolate, But, ever since then, I stay away from Nutella. I don't even touch Nutella. I mean, that made me hate Nutella even more. But I really did not realize that 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 a dog, that chocolate could kill or poison a dog. But the dog turned out to be all right and nothing happened to her. But the dog Chloe, now Shelley thought it was funny, that the dog Chloe, that same dog, used to eat her own feces. Just like my twin sister's daughter Raven would eat her own feces. And she tried to say that McKeithen would eat his own feces, but she tried to make it like Ivan was the only one that never ate his own feces, Excuse me, but my twin sister tried to say that the foster mom mentioned that we used to eat our own feces or whatever as babies. Like, well, I damn sure don't remember that. So, but I think the fake foster mom freaking lied about that, Excuse me. So, I do remember shitting on myself, even with being 2 years old, but, and got whippings for it. And I think I remember a particular time when I had diarrhea and got whipped for it, we were at somebody's house, But at the moment, I don't even know if they're hitting me in my heart with the directed energy weapons. And even earlier on, they were hitting me in my heart with the weapons. Um, you know, so now that I mentioned, oh, they hit me in the heart with the weapons, all of a sudden the pain stopped. Excuse me. So, but there's been a lot of abuse in both the foster and biological family, and like I even heard that the biological brother Derek was like 6 years old and didn't know any better, I guess, and he killed a cat and put a cat in the microwave and stuff like that, and but it's like like how the hell, you know, but then Derek turned out to be abusive, an abusive person, and the biological brother Pete being abusive, Mark being abusive, and my twin sister being abusive, Ramona being abusive, Raymond and Monica being abusive, drunk lady Yvonne and Rebecca and them being abusive. All of them abusive, narcissistic perps. And a lot of the fake foster family members being abusive. The Kraft family members being abusive. So, but yeah. So I forgot how I got on this topic or whatever, or why mentioned it. But I got a oh yeah, okay. So I somewhat remember how I got on the topic. But yeah, but I was 11 years old in 6th grade, and they had the pictures, you know, from the 6th grade dance. And around that time I was on Prozac. Excuse me. I was on Prozac, and I was both homicidal and suicidal. While I was on a Prozac medication, mainly more suicidal. Um, but I was a kid, and you know, and that boy Gerald Jackson, when we were that classmate, I don't even think he was on psych meds, but he was in the same special ed class. And I never even heard of suicide or anybody killing themselves until he mentioned, you know, like he would throw tantrums, and multiple times he would scream and cry that he's gonna kill himself. You know, excuse me. And he was an abusive narcissistic child that got undeserved praise for doing evil. Like Lanika from the Kraft family, get praised for doing evil. But yeah, that's where I got it from. And I like killing yourself. Like, I never heard such a thing like that. But then, I was on Prozac and used to like pull a knife on myself sometimes, but I didn't know I didn't know what I was doing. Excuse me. I'm glad I never succeeded, But just like when the foster sister Joni would overeat on snacks and stuff, I got that from her. I picked that habit up from her, But like people just used to make fun of Joni and call her fat or whatever, but I never really heard people call her greedy. But the foster mom used to tell me that for me to eat a certain way, being on those psych medications, I was the size that you saw on that picture in the most recent community post with the blue swimsuit, and lectured about my weight and being told I'm going to grow up to be big as a house. And I was 11 years old in 6th grade. And I like was about 5'1", or probably the height I am now, 5'2", because I've been this same height since like 6th grade and 5th or 6th grade in elementary school, and the Prozac made me gain enough weight that I ended up being like 145 pounds. And I used to get bullied and harassed and laughed at and called fat and greedy. And even other overweight people calling me greedy, like Miss Sally Falcone from McDonough 26. And then 2006, I was in my early 20s, and years later, she still hated my guts. And that lady's been obese and overweight for years and trying to control what I eat and trying to, call me fat and greedy, or, make me out to be greedy, or punish me she would be the cafeteria monitor at McDonald's 26, and she used to punish me for accepting food from other kids at lunch when they will offer it to me. And, it was, the kids being bullies or whatever, And that Keenan Henderson boy, he was in special ed. Wow, years later, I found out he's a freaking devil worshiper. I saw Facebook pictures of him throwing up satanic hands like devil horns, and I thought this guy turned into a Christian. But he had a girlfriend he would physically abuse and beat on when we were in high school. But Keenan, I never desired to want to have sex with him or anything like that. I was in elementary school, but I liked him and thought he was cute. But I even named a pet bunny rabbit that I got for one of those holidays as a gift. And I named my pet bunny rabbit after him, And he used to bully me and treat me really mean, And he would, they would have pizza for lunch. And he would be like, Candy, you want my pizza? And I said, oh, yeah, I'll take it. And then he'll wait till after I said, oh, yeah, I'll take it. And then he'd shake his head and be like, greedy, And then I would eat it. And then the kids will wait till after I ate it to be like, ew, he spit in it. And this white boy named Corey, Keenan was a black boy. And this white boy named Corey Mooney, his mom used to teach be like a substitute teacher at McDonald's 26 elementary school. And Corey, a couple of times they had, I was in 6th grade, because Keenan used to do that to me and I was in 5th grade, and I was in 6th grade, and they used to have these yummy burritos that used to taste so good at school. And Corey, excuse me, he used to ask me for my burrito. Ask me if I wanted his burrito. But he didn't call me greedy or anything, but he used to be like, oh, Candy, you want my burrito? Oh, yeah, I'll take it. And then I would eat it. And then, and they would wait till after I ate it to be like, ew, he spit in it. And Miss Sally used to, she never punished the boys for doing what they did, but she used to punish me for accepting food from them when they offered it to me. And then one time, I had Miss Sally had rough handled and abused me and restrained me or did something to me one time. And I don't remember if I was in 5th or 6th grade, But imagine from you being in elementary school, and then you see the same people who worked at your school when you became an older and adult, and they're still prejudicing you or still don't like you. Adults who hate kids, and then a child grow up and you still don't like me. So then, but if I was that man, Mr. Ben, at the seafood place that I was telling y'all about in the earlier video, he used to snitch to the foster mom about us gaining more weight, and the foster mom would severely punish us, for gaining weight. But you forced us to see a psychiatrist and take medication that make you hungry and gain weight. And Prozac used to make me freaking hungrier, But the foster cousin Corey and that biracial foster boy Jamie, teamed up together and bullied her and harassed and laughed at me and was calling me greedy. And when I was in 5th grade, during the you know, that was the first time I think I ever in my life got called greedy, and I was taking Prozac medication and gaining more weight, and they were calling me greedy for the Thanksgiving holidays, and I was wondering why they're doing this to me, you know. But before then, I used to always get punished or in trouble for wasting food or not eating all my food. And once Prozac come, I'm cursed with the trigger word greedy all my life. When Lanika called me greedy at the track meet and I blacked out and punched her and didn't realize until almost immediately after, excuse me, you know, and I was in 9th grade, you know, and about the size you see on, you know, the size that y'all see on the most recent community post, because like I was not obese when I was in 9th grade, and I wasn't on Prozac anymore either. But I mean, I must have lost weight um after 6th grade, because when I was in 7th grade, I ended up weighing like probably like 120 or 130 something. But I ended up never being under 130 pounds, but no higher than 145. You know, and then and I wish I had still had some pictures, but my sophomore year in high school, I was 15 years old and I was under 130 pounds and I was so skinny. And I felt like I always wanted to be 17 years old and skinny. But I was 17 years old and I started gaining weight rapidly and gained from like 145 or 150. And then by the time I turned 18, I was 170. And then after being 18 years old, and people talk about the freshman 15 going to college, and you know, people talk about the freshman 15 when you go to college, and but I gained 30 pounds instead of 15 within the first semester. And then after that, I ended up as an adult never getting to be under 200 pounds. But before Hurricane Katrina, I always weighed, you know, about 220, between 220 and 240. And then after Hurricane Katrina, I got up to 279 pounds. And then 2006, I got up to 300 pounds or 304 pounds. And then, you know, I would average around 279. And then, excuse me, when I tried out the raw vegan thingy or whatever, I found myself always being hungry and overeating more, but trying to eat healthier fruits and vegetables, and didn't realize I was nutrition starved, you know, and needed that protein, needed the meat, you know, and but then I got down to like 240 pounds, and I was living in Los Angeles and weighing about 240 pounds, or 240 and 245. Excuse me. And then after that, when the biological mom Frances passed away, you know, and then the biological dad Arthur, and dealing with this abuse and lack of support from society, then I would end up gaining back up to 279 pounds. And then I would end up being on average like between 250 and 270. And then after dealing with Lisa Ruby, I gained up to 320 pounds. And I'm like, this is not the normal me. And she was manipulating and controlling the food that I eat and weaponized the greedy thing against me. You know, she would manipulate the food, manipulate and control me with the forced fasting. And you know, with her forcing me to starve myself, all in the fake name of fasting. And then when she finally let me eat, I would end up, you know, pigging out, and still ended up gaining weight. And she would manipulate and control my bathroom trips and force me to hold my urine in for so many hours and stuff like that. And it's like, for her to if she wanted me to tell her my whole life story, and you know, for me to tell her my whole life story, and she just weaponized everything against me and was talking about you know, casting out demons and doing deliverance and all that. And she manipulated for me to break the lease. And my gang stalking ramped up. And I didn't even realize she was a perp trying to be my hand, that she sent for me to come live with her so that she could try to be my handler. And the mind control didn't work, and I kept resisting and arguing, fussing and fighting. And it was embarrassing because she was supposed to be, even though an older lady, she pretended to be a fake friend. But arguing with her was like arguing like wife and husband. And then she was arguing with her own husband. Me and her was like she wanted to be controlling and to be the, like, you know, as if she was the doggone husband arguing with me. And like, I'm supposed to be arguing like the damn wife. And then she was arguing, fussing with her own husband. I'm like, I wonder if for them to claim that they're Christians, they damn sure argue and fuss a lot. You know, but that moment that they had a gun, if I mean, you know, when the arguments got worse, and it's like they had a gun on the counter, and like the day before, the husband Gary was walking around with a gun, walking around the trailer or the house or whatever with a gun. And then the next day, the gun was like sitting on the counter. And some people said that Miss Lisa Ruby was trying to set me up for a felony crime. Or that, you know, that she was that they were trying to set me up to look like a criminal. I thought that I feared that Miss Lisa Ruby was, or her husband were gonna, you know, because she brainwashed her husband to hate me. And I was wondering why the man treated me a certain way. And she claimed that he was a former Satanist turned Christian, and she claimed that she was, you know, former MK Ultra victim turned Christian. And it's like, these people, they lied and deceived me, and they never left Christianity. I mean, I'm sorry, they never left whatever Satanism. And Miss Lisa Ruby pretending to be anti-Illuminati, anti-New World Order. But she would use mental health, weaponize mental health against me at her own, when it's convenient for her. You know. So, but I did not eat, and Miss Lisa Ruby used to hide food in the refrigerator away from me, or hide food in the cabinets, and be very controlling and manipulative with the food and everything. I've talked about this before in my videos, you know. So, while she was doing all this abuse and manipulation, and at the same time telling me that I'm full of demons. And then somebody said that she was the narcissist with the vacant, dead eyes, not to be trusted, you know. And so she nearly fainted when I told her that you're the very same, you know, that, excuse me, I told her you're the very same witch that you want to call everybody else. And she nearly fainted, and I left and had to pay an $80 paying like 80 or $90 cab ride to get all the way from Traveler's Rest, and the cabs were not trying to come and get me. And then they had this white female meth head that was younger than me and abusive and narcissistic and hard and mean, and she was a cab driver, and yeah, it costed me nearly $100 to get a cab ride and get all the way to downtown Greenville, South Carolina. And I would end up, you know, my journey to being like 9 days of being homeless on the streets. Never heard gunshots. Oh, yeah, I did. I heard gunshots in Los Angeles, and downtown LA was the first time I ever saw what crack looked like. But, you know, for me to be in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, and see people being strung out and looking like The Walking Dead, looking like zombies, and still chasing after their next hit. And that was such a small town for me to hear the paramedics and sirens all the time. You know. So, excuse me. But I didn't even realize that Miss Lisa Ruby, her daughter, and her fake slutty daughter, fake slutty Julia, and you know, the husband Gary, you know, perps. And then Julia pretended to be a righteous and fake holier than thou Christian. And then Julia, you know, turned out to be like she got with this guy and then turned out to be an all-out Satanist. You know, so it's like, I think that they were satanic from the beginning and pretending to be anti-Illuminati and pretending to be Christian. And then a couple of people that ended up with, like, this person named Brandy, and she had a son named Brandon. I forgot their last name, but they were from Easley, South Carolina. And Miss Lisa Ruby herself tried to tell me that Brandy and her son went into hiding. But I don't even know if Lisa Ruby sacrificed that female and her son and just caused them to go missing. But Miss Lisa Ruby, you know, living all the way out in the country. Miss Lisa Ruby is originally from Jacksonville, Florida. And the husband is, I think, from Boston, Massachusetts. And then Greyhound, when I went to take the Greyhound bus to Greenville, South Carolina, before then I had never been to Florida. And then my belongings ended up in Jacksonville, Florida, her hometown. And my luggage and stuff was missing. And then she got mad and victim blamed me and went off on me. And me and her got into an argument. And, you know, like, why would you send for me to come down to stay by you and then treat me like everything I do or say gets on your nerves and like my presence is not welcome? And she was very controlling and manipulative. And she waited till the time when she took me to the Social Security office and she went off on me and was very controlling, you know, and acted all kinds of weird and everything. And she tried to tell me, "You do the wise thing, keep your mouth shut." And she acted off, and people would have thought that she acted like a Karen. You know, and it's like, and people say that she was a narcissistic abuser, but Miss Lisa Ruby was a damn perp. She was a perp trying to be my handler. But then there was this other female, black female, that she told me about that you know, dealt with the deliverance, and then and she like up and disappeared or whatever. And if she got away from Miss Lisa, then she dodged a bullet. You know. Hold on, I gotta use the bathroom. Okay. This was the fourth time that I had been forced urinated since this evening. And then I took a shower, and like I thought I was, well, I'm not the only one who had complaints that you know, multiple people have complaints that when they take a shower, the drain end up being slowed or stopped. It's like each and every time I take a shower here, every time I take a shower here, so I took a shower tonight, and they forced urinated me, and then I had to use the bathroom again, you know, and so I took a shower, and I got out before 10 o'clock, and now it's like the water is not trying to get out of the tub, like not trying to drain out, and I have to tell the housekeepers like almost every time. You know, but the water drained slow. It was the day before yesterday. The water drained slow when I took a shower, and now it seems like it won't drain at all. It's like, but other hotels, I do not have this problem, really. You know, so excuse me. It seems like no matter what room I'm in, the water drains out slow. In the shower water being like warm and not hot. You know. So yeah, just now was the fourth time that I had been forced urinated. Um, and I don't even know if it's the regular forced urination or is my body detoxing, or is it the forced urination? I don't know. Excuse me. Sometimes, um, you know, but yeah, back to the Lisa Ruby situation. Yeah, there was another female. I think she was African, and Miss Lisa Ruby claimed that she tried to do deliverance, and basically they were trying to say that she was stupid for leaving. No, she was actually smart for leaving. You know, and so Miss Lisa Ruby would call everybody else a witch. You know, and then Darius seemed like a black guy version of a lot of like Lisa Ruby to me. And when he and Lisa Ruby pretended to be targeted. You know, her and her husband both lied and said that they were targeted individuals. And but that Darius guy, I'm sitting here telling him about Lisa Ruby, and he weaponized that against me, and weaponized, just like Lisa Ruby weaponized my traumas against me. He did the same thing. You know, and I still feel like I haven't fully gotten over what he did to me or the way he treated me. And this coming July will be 2 years since I last had any contact with him. You know, but it took me a whole 5 years or so to get over, no, yeah, about 4 or 5 years for me to get over what Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst did to me. You know, the religious trauma. Now, like, I was already abused in a cult and everything, and y'all turn around and use the Bible to abuse me and weaponize my traumas, weaponize my childhood trauma. And Darius did the same thing, and he did that fake video. He secretly separated himself from me for like at least 8 days, and then come out of nowhere and do this fake video talking about victim or survivor. Which one are you? Infection or antidote? And I knew that everything about that video was about me, and then he lied and said that the video wasn't about me, and then said, I told you that you're my favorite. And then he started manipulating the fake friendship or whatever, you know. But he got mad at me for exposing the truth about him. And come to find out, he was a perp from the beginning. Well, pretending that he's freaking targeted. You know. So, and he lied and said that I am a perp that's a think spy agent and a CIA agent and with the Black Widow complex. And it's like, I have zero ties to the CIA. But he think he got expert knowledge. He thinks he has more knowledge than the real God. You know. So, and then he resorted to linking up with my twin sister and calling me crazy and saying that I'm sick, crazy, and need help, and and he lied and said I'm a scammer. He defended and agreed with the sex trafficking perps. He went all out, and but he was more slick than Anthony with manipulating and controlling me and stuff like that, and being younger than me. Think that you can lecture me, tell me off, and handle up on me. And it's like I never even told him, if he complained about the targeting and he would voluntarily check up on me and everything, well, how come it's not playing the victim when you complain about being targeted? And it's like, wow, I never even knew you thought that I was negative or complained so much or whatever. But you complain and have fits, and you call me up when you're in a crisis. He would call me up when he is in a crisis and stuff like that, or feeling like the targeting is unbearable. And it's like, yeah, he was definitely a narcissistic, control freak, fake friend, and a perp. And using projection. So, I mean, but anyway, though, it's I wanted to try to dang, I'm not gonna make it to going to bed before midnight because it's 11:37 right now. But while reality hit me that tomorrow night is the last day for me to be here, and then Monday morning having to check out and be back on the streets. Um, and so it looks like tomorrow I may have to have my pay for my own breakfast again, you know, and like I just had the huge breakfast today during lunchtime, and then had the leftover red beans and rice and stuff for dinner. Um, and then so now I mean I may have to buy my own breakfast tomorrow, and you know I will have just enough money for that. I'm not ready. I am not ready to have to go back on the streets. I'm not ready to have to go back on the streets. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Even if I went and filled out job applications, this week. I mean, it took me a long time to get a job opportunity. Excuse me, and even like job opportunities and housing opportunities get ruined due to the gang stalking. And it's not fair for me to have to be forced to live like this. And the same gang stalkers who sabotage every avenue where I can make income, they lie and falsely accuse me of, living off of others' dime and freeloading off of others, and they falsely accuse me of you know being addicted to being homeless and using people and pretending to have fake pity and attention and all that. But I didn't even realize Darius when he told me don't go look back on your twin sister's page, and then he was secretly behind my back watching all her videos, taking notes on how to on my weaknesses and how to trigger me and upset me and everything. And you wanted to narcissistically punish somebody that's halfway old enough to be your mother. And then dealing with Tony H being 14 years younger than me and thinking she could freaking handle up on me and abuse me and everything. She acted like a female version of him. And then dealing with Miss Samantha and Monique and others, all being like perping and abusing me and stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I don't want to give anybody my phone number anymore. Like back in October, a fake TI perp, you know, her name is Jamisa or something like that, and she's one of the popular fakes. And she was perping me on the phone, and that's the fake bitch that tried to tell me act like your college degree. And like very, very controlled, like a narcissistic control freak fake friend and fake TI perp, and she was perping me on the phone. It's like I can't even give out my phone number no more. And like every phone encounter, y'all end up perping me. perping and abusing me, and then when I out or tell the truth, y'all reverse it on me and lie and say that I'm the one that's working for the government. When it's y'all the ones with houses and cars. But the gang stalking network won't allow me to have a job. They won't allow me to make a living from my writings. And they're not shy about how they want to force me to die. You know, talking about that I'm gonna die soon. And I heard this story about how this 19-year-old black female went on a date with an older white guy, and he had like a sex dungeon in his house, and then he cut up her body parts and threw her body parts like in different areas of the of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then like he went and drove her car somewhere and then set the car on fire, and then he ended up being found and arrested 3 days later. And I'd be worried, you know, I would never date the fake Darnell Williams perp, but the way he been harassing me and tracking my every move and, you know, talking about what he's gonna do to me, and I cannot go to the police. You know, and when I had to deal with what I had to deal with Alex Dupree, and people are forcing me to be out on the streets in open season for anything and vulnerable. And then everybody's looking for excuses to hate me and nobody freaking cares. You know. So let me get off here. I wish I could have help for more hotel nights off the streets, you know. But I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. But I'm gonna be you know, it would be nice if I could have help with more hotel nights and food and stuff like that. I mean, I have enough for food tomorrow, but not enough for a hotel night. So I'm gonna see y'all.